Yeah, I've raced dirty. And you know what? A lot of the other guys have raced dirty, and some of them need to race dirtier. They need to get more aggressive, and they need to throw caution to the wind, and just, if you wreck, and you suffer the consequences later.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go on to ball. What a race! California's Kevin Harvick does it. Straight naked right there. You're the man.
Welcome to Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour, presented by NASCAR on Fox. I'm Kevin Harvick. This is Kaitlyn Vincie. This is our tire-changing friend, Mama Smith.
With a Goodyear shirt on.
Goodyear.
How appropriate.
Yeah, I'm the Goodyear tire champion of the world, baby,
you.
after this weekend.
You've got new shoes on today. You've got new glasses. You look
Styling.
pretty new
It's
from
looking
top
fresh.
to bottom.
Yeah, I felt like I haven't worn these Pumas before, so they kind of look like Tim's. I got these nice brand new Heatwave glasses, some nice Delta pants. I got a little CHO carved in them.
Oh,
Yeah, and
Wow.
my Goodyear shirt.
Kevin
and a new
never,
haircut.
he never comments on my fashion, just yours, fortunately.
well,
Well, that's because you
Mine's
always
boring.
look good. And
Mine's boring.
we just dress normal.
I don't.
No, we.
Oh, we.
I said we.
I
said
got you
we.
now. I got you now.
We dress normal.
Mhm. And he's a little more
He's edgy.
exciting. Edgy.
He's
That's the
very
good
edgy.
word for him.
I do like the
Yes, I
dunks
like
you got
that.
on this week.
I know.
I figured that I'd kind of let you down over the last couple of weeks with repeat shoes. So
Repeat.
my wife thinks I have a problem, but
Oh,
here we are.
Here we
Yeah,
are.
here we are.
It's okay.
Got a new pair.
yeah.
Fine.
Here we are, guys. Another episode. We keep getting these like layup races, right? Of so many good finishes and plenty of things to talk about. So we appreciate everyone who's been following along. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Give us a 5-star review. Leave a word potentially for one of these two to use. Maybe even me. Who knows? Someone's using a word.
Listen, you better be careful offering that up because I got a lot of DMs from the
Did you?
closers about that. Appreciate
Okay.
you, closers. Make sure you go to Harvick Happy Pod and
Yeah.
add us and get us all your thoughts and experiences.
Experiences.
I want to
Yeah,
know
like
everything.
that. Speaking of experiences, Kevin had a new one once again with a new word. You want to go over that?
Yeah, Kevin, you did a good job this week.
It was okay.
Dude.
It was okay. I think that the funny part about this one specifically was how people how they took you saying it, because there's a lot of different ways to say it. But before we let you explain how you had this in your mind, let's roll the tape.
You know, there's three kinds of facts. There's lies, there's gosh darn lies, and then there are statistics.
Well, don't be doing any capping right here, Mike.
Oh, no, but
no
no-
capping.
No Stage 2 winner has yet to finish better than 25th at Darlington in this new generation car. That's the statistic. I think that's about to change.
That's pretty sus.
Pretty sus.
Boyer.
So, like, the way that you did it is probably the first time it's ever been done like that, because you're like, it sounded like an old uncle or something. Like,
Right.
no capping, kids. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's supposed to be like, nah, man, no cap, no cap. You know what I mean? So your delivery was different, but I still appreciate it.
It was very natural.
I think that all these phrases and words, it seems like they're just made up by saying something that you just make up anyway. So
Yeah.
there's really no true definition to any of it. So there's people like, oh, you didn't use it in the right context. I'm like, right context? Listen to what I'm saying. No capping. Like,
Yeah.
no cap.
Now people are getting
Like,
all specific
do
about
we
how you
add
use it.
Yeah, let's not get specific on made up words and phrases anyway.
So I thought the dead nuts was the word, because I
Oh, so did
blanked
Boyer.
for a second because I knew he had sent it to me, but I couldn't remember what it was. And then when I heard you say that, I text him. I go, "What's the word?" See,
I had
now-
to call him. He didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it because I'm on the track. So he calls me. He's like, man, I said dead nuts, and everyone thought that was the word. I'm like, that's fantastic. And then I heard Clint say sus.
Yeah.
So everyone's getting in on it, and we appreciate you.
Now you're using words and people can't tell which is which. You know, is that
I
the
didn't-
word? Is it not?
And honestly, I used the word, and I was like describing something or whatever the situation was, and I thought it was close to perfect or right on, whatever that
Dead, yeah.
situation was. So I said dead nuts, and it's just something that I say every once in a while. And Clint is kicking me, punching me, laughing, pounding his fist on the table because I had told him what I was going to say, and that wasn't it. And
Right.
he thought I had told him something wrong and made it up. And
Gotcha.
and
That was funny. though.
use something differently. But
I see.
and then I thought, what did I say?
He didn't even know.
Maybe dead nuts meant something that I didn't think it meant.
No, in the shop,
You're
it
the
means,
resident vernacular specialist over there.
Yeah, no, in the shop, we use dead nuts like
Straight on, right?
straight, like
Yeah.
dead on. Like that's
Yeah.
exactly what I need you to be.
It's fair.
Dead nuts.
It's dead nuts.
Speaking of dead nuts in the road,
That's
Hold on.
that's one of Kaitlyn's most classic transitions that we've ever had.
Oh my God.
Hold on. I have to tell this story before we start talking about the weekend. I'm driving back from Darlington because I left during the first stage. And I see a man pulled over on the side of the road, pointing to something in the middle of the road. And I'm approaching. I'm not even putting two and two together. It was him. It was Mamba saving a turtle's life.
You were in the road saving a turtle?
Dude,
Yes.
So I roll up and this I see something moving pretty slowly. And I'm like, oh snap. And like I get by it and it was like right on the line. And I'm like, that was a dang turtle. Like if someone hits that, like you're gonna know it when you hit a turtle.
Shoot it out like a hockey.
Oh my God, it's gonna look like Mario Kart, like for real. And so I was like, I pulled over and I threw it in reverse. And I'm like, no one's coming. So like, right about that time I get out of my car, there's 6 cars coming.
Yeah.
Right? And everyone is in the left lane and the turtle is in the right lane. And
You have to ride in the left lane. Were you on 151?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to ride in the left lane because the right lane's not been
Well, yeah, it's not.
touched in who knows how many years.
It's a little
rough.
tough.
Yeah.
And there's only one car in the right lane. And it's this big white
was me.
SUV. And I'm like, oh man.
Slow poke.
Yeah, so I'm like pointing at it, like, hey, like, you stop, like,
I don't
slow
even
down.
realize it's him because I'm so distracted by
She
the fact
drives
some-
by and I see, like, we look eye to eye and I'm like, what are you doing? And I like grab this turtle, bring it across the other side. Hopefully he made it, kept it going.
And then you text me. It was like, you would have gotten in a wreck if you hit that thing. And I
Oh,
was like, oh, wait, that was you. It was funny.
It was like,
was pretty
dude,
fun.
this thing was like as big as a, I don't know, like a
You should have taken it
12-pack.
home.
Yeah, you should have a pet. That could have been a new pet.
I had a
for
pet
you.
turtle.
Did you?
Yeah.
What'd you name it?
I
Pet
had a
turtle?
desert turtle in the backyard when I lived in
Wow.
California. And it would, we would feed it.
Did it have a name?
When it was, his name was Alice.
Alice, the
Alice.
turtle.
Alice the turtle.
I knew we'd learn something
Okay.
new about him today.
Didn't expect that one coming.
I
in.
Did
don't
not
think anyone
expect
expected that one.
But hey, good job. Not all heroes wear capes, as you say.
That's right.
This guy saving lives one turtle at a time.
turtle.
All right. Let's talk about the race now. Because as I mentioned at the top of the show, this was a pretty incredible race to the finish. Brad Keselowski, what a drive out of him. What an effort out of his pit crew as well. And he's been looking for this for a while, had a lot of bad luck. It's finally behind him.
Well, we had talked about it on Saturday after qualifying that Brad was going to be hard to beat because when he qualifies that good, that usually means a lot of the pieces are together and he's comfortable in the car. So we saw Chris Busher run well last week. He qualified well again this week as well. But Brad was really good on the long run. And it's just, Darlington is just one of those places that it fits that experience side of the world to know what you need in your car. They had past experience last year with what they needed in their car. They've been working their way towards running better this year. So it just had all the ingredients for a Brad K type of day, and they put it all together. And for once, the circumstances worked in his favor.
Yeah.
I think as the race went towards the end. So we saw him put a lot of pressure on Tyler Reddick there to get the lead, lost the lead, and then everything that happened was with Reddick and Buescher gave him the lead back. But when you look at the way that they executed their day, pit road was a key element to that. Pit road kept Tyler Reddick in the race all day with that first pit stall and everything that he had going on, because they definitely weren't anywhere close to as fast as the 6 pit crew on pit road this weekend. So happy for Brad, and it was very interesting after the race to see the crowd. A lot of people stayed. I think there was a lot of enthusiasm for Brad to be able to finally get back to victory lane, win in the 6 car. And I think, Brad not going to Roush and renaming the company RFK, they aren't where they are today. He's been that key element in the turnaround of RFK and the performance and the things that he has done. And, I think he has more time to focus on just being the driver and getting to victory lane and doing the things that he needs to instead of rebuilding the whole company and making sure that they're on the right path. And so we talk about the details and everything that goes into being a good driver and being able to take the time to do the things that you need to do. But they put it all together this weekend. And I think for the sport in general, I think everybody was happy to see Brad back in victory lane.
They were his pit crew was the hot pit crew highlight
Yes.
this weekend. So now everyone's going to want to get highlighted if it's going to put him in victory lane, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I love it for Brad. He's been trying so hard and they've been so close in different races, and the 17 of Chris Buescher has gone to victory lane for them. So that's been great. But Brad has never won a race in his own equipment with his name on it ever. Like,
that sucks.
That's tough.
I've been there.
Like when he owned the truck team, Joey won for him, Ryan won for him, Austin Cindric won for him. I don't think Tyler Reddick did, but like they won races, but he never won one for himself. So this was really cool for him, and he's a grinder. And I think at this point, you look at some people's careers, like, oh, okay, he's on the back end, like they might never ever win again. He's like, nah, I'm still here. I can still get it done. So I love that for him.
Huge moment for him, of course. First win for him as driver owner. And you just referenced the fact that you've been in his shoes as an owner and a driver. What is that like when you're balancing so many hats as like a father, a husband, a driver, an owner? That's a lot of things going on.
I think the driver owner piece is actually harder because you put more pressure on yourself. I think you're exactly right. I think you definitely put more pressure on yourself to want to be in victory lane, to succeed. And the other piece is, you could be driving somebody else's stuff and winning. And so if you're not succeeding in your own equipment, you know that you're not doing a good job. Your cars need to be faster. People need to be better. Whatever that scenario is, that's on you. And that's a lot of pressure when you put yourself in that position to be the driver and the owner, because there's nowhere to say, hey, you need to do this. Let's work on that. Both fingers are pointed directly at your chest, and you have to be able to put the right people in place, and you also have to separate it into being able to still be able to give the teammate and the other team and everything else the right people and attention that it needs. So that's a tough balance. And we started our truck team just because I hadn't won a truck race, and then we won the truck race and kept driving, in the trucks, and then we started to put other people in there, and then same thing with the Busch Series cars. That was actually, we started the Busch Series teams for Stewart when he didn't want to race for Gibbs, so we started those teams for him, and then I got in the car after we had started those teams after a while because I was driving an RCR. But it's a lot of pressure.
Really cool moment, though, for Brad. I love when he got the flag, and then he gave the flag to his daughter, and she took it to school. Did you guys see that?
Yes.
Brought it to school
that
for
was great.
The Pledge of Allegiance, I think it was.
Yep.
Pretty neat.
So I got a question for you guys. If you had to guess,
oh boy,
how many wins do you think Brad Keselowski has in his career?
I mean, first,
he's
34.
He's been here for a long time.
Yeah,
and done a lot of things. What was your guess, Kate?
34.
34.
I think he's at 36 or 7 now.
Oh, you already looked.
I didn't look.
No, 36.
Oh, let's go.
You guys guessed a lot lower than I thought he had more wins than that. I personally, I thought that he'd won more races than that.
I guess for me, I look at that and I'm like, 30 is a lot.
Yeah.
Like I think to me, 30 is a lot. And if you look at the all-time wins list, 30 is a lot. And there's guys that have been around a while that you would think would have more. Like RB, I would think would have more. I mean, I think he's at Truex. You'd think he'd have more. And it's hard to win. But he had some stints where he won a lot, but he's had some stints
110 races he didn't win.
Right.
In a row.
But I looked that up this morning, and I just expected that number to be a little bit higher, and I don't know why.
Well, it took him a while at Penske to get that to start winning. It took him, like, he didn't win in the 12. It took until he moved over to the 2 car. And then it took a little bit for them to really start clicking, I feel like.
So this kind of brings me to the next discussion. The other part of this equation is Chris Buescher did not win. And we saw the frustration mounting for him after the race. I think because it's so hard to win these races. And he kind of expressed to Tyler Reddick, look, you already have one of those win stickers. I don't yet. And he's come close 2 weeks in a row now. And what do you think is the experience for him like right now with that going on?
The experience is terrible because he feels like that the world is against him. And whether he had a bad week or not last week, Tyler Reddick didn't care at the time that he was going for the race lead. He doesn't care how he lost last week. I don't think anybody cares how Chris lost last week. But I think Busher really realizes, hey, those are 2 opportunities for me that got away from us. Last week it was just like a dagger in the heart after you are celebrating a win, and then you come back and it's like, oh, you're not celebrating a win. But I think this move right here was Reddick was running in and had got to his bumper. I think Reddick had said, okay, I'm close right here. I need to surprise him and not wait. And Chris saw that and gassed it back up. He had bounced off the fence, got loose, bounced off the fence, gassed it back up to keep Reddick from shooting up the racetrack to finish that slide job. And as we saw Brad Keselowski to Tyler Reddick, a few laps before that, he went up and Reddick said either he was going too fast or he said, okay, I need to squeeze him right here and try to make something happen. But they wound up getting together and both of them got right rear tires flats, and which we didn't see off of Reddick and Keselowski earlier when they were battling for the lead. So I love it. I love the fact that they're racing hard for the lead.
Yeah.
I understand Buescher's frustration for not winning the race and not having that win sticker on the car, not putting himself in the playoffs. These guys make a lot of money when they win races. There's a heck of a bonus on the line, I would assume. It puts your team in a great position to you're going to make the playoffs. You're going to get another bonus. And I'm not saying it's all about money, but it is about money. It is about points. It is about having that win sticker. It is, making yourself a winner. You want that sticker on your car, that win sticker on your car to justify that you're one of the guys and you're part of the game and you have a chance to win a championship.
Winning means so much. And Christopher Buescher, we usually see him pretty calm, collected, kind of Southern boy there from Prosper, Texas. Yes. But he's starting to get pissed. Yeah. I mean, when he approached, obviously, Tyler Reddick on pit road, the cameras were rolling. You could hear some of the comments back and forth, but this is pretty uncharacteristic, I would say, of Chris Buescher. But rightfully so. I mean, he's fired up. Yeah,
you saw that. You saw some Texas. That was some Texan right there.
Prosper.
I love it from a standpoint of a fan standpoint watching this, right? We've had a bunch of close finishes this year already. That was just another one. Like, had it been on the last lap and they're banging off it, we're like talking about Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch all over again, right? And it kind of stinks that it happened with 10 to go and then the cars break and no one gets a good finish. But I don't know. You can't ask for much more than that as a fan. Like two guys laying it all on the line, and then
three of them.
Three because Brad was right there, and then Chris being mad after. We always want people to show their emotion.
We do.
Well, guys, don't quit showing that. Like keep that coming.
A couple things that show through right here. Just how much emotion is carried, no matter if you think the guy is mild mannered, high temper, no temper, whatever that is that you think about a person. You really get to see the emotion of competing and. With Buescher being in position to win those two races, he's frustrated, he's mad, and he knows the opportunities that just passed him by. He might not get another one, right? Mm-hmm. He might not have another opportunity to win a race this year. Now, do I think that's going to happen? I do. I think they're going to have another opportunity because of the speed that they've shown up with in their cars the last couple of weeks. But I ask people all the time, I say, who's your new favorite driver? Well, none of these guys have personality. Well, guess what? You've seen a lot of personality out of several of them over the last several months. And these guys there's a lot of personality out there with these drivers, and there's a lot of fire and grit that goes behind it. Yeah, they're more polished than some of us probably were when we started, but they start that way now. Like the difference in the culture is you just know more about how to act, what to say, when to say it, but you get into 2 weeks of getting your, walking away with your tail between your legs because you've lost. It's not fun, and eventually it shows through, just like it did with Buescher.
What you just said is exactly why it reminds me of Ryan Sieg and Sam Mayer at Texas. And Ryan didn't squeeze him in the fence.
Yeah.
Right. It's way too hard to win races to not. I think if it's me, I'd have a hard time not to. I respect Ryan Sieg for not doing that, but it's way too hard to win races at this level. Like, I'm doing all I got to do.
And I said that going to the green flag for the last green flag, Clint said something on it. He said, "What do you think?" I said, "It's time for Brad Keselowski to get dirty." I mean, he's got to get dirty right here if he has to. If he can't make the pass, if he has the opportunity, he has to race dirty. And yeah, I've raced dirty. And you know what? A lot of the other guys have raced dirty, and some of them need to race dirtier. They need to get more aggressive, and they need to throw caution to the wind, and just, if you wreck, and you suffer the consequences later. But I just felt like Brad was in position to win the race, and he did I mean, he tried to do what he had to do. He put Reddick in the fence and squeezed him in the fence, and whether he got tight or not, it was just one of those situations where you had to try to make it happen.
Yeah.
It didn't work out in that moment, and then Reddick said, "This is my opportunity. He's not expecting me to do this right now. I'm going to do it." Busher did the same thing. He throttled back up, blocked the slide job, and they both wrecked. So, sometimes you just gotta play a little dirtier than you would in other scenarios.
What do they say? Eight tires is better than 4 sometimes. That's definitely that situation.
8 tires were better than 4 until they both only had 6.
That's the math equation, in case anyone's wondering. Tyler Reddick did take ownership for this situation, though, after the race when he was interviewed. Do you think this carries over between these two drivers? Is this a one-and-done situation here?
I don't know, but I hated that interview.
No, you did.
I did.
Why'd you hate it?
I don't like when these guys go down the road of apologizing so much that it's just pathetic. And I honestly, that's how I feel. And I understand that. I just wish they would apologize and just say, I had to do what I had to do to try to win the race. It didn't work out. I'm sorry. And I apologize for doing that. If I had to do it again, I wish we'd have both continued, but don't over apologize, please. Please do not over apologize.
Yeah, no, I was watching the end of this with some people and they said the same thing. And it's like, Tyler, that's always been Tyler. Like when they're
over apologize off the camera.
Yeah, I mean, when he wins, he's one of the most elated winners that you see. When he loses, he takes it all on himself. And to your point, I wish he wouldn't do that so much in those situations because it's fine. Tyler, it's fine.
Yeah.
Right? You're racing for a win. It's not your job to make sure that the 17 has a fair shot at it. It's your job to win for the 45 and 23.11, and that's okay.
And I love the fact that he shot that thing in there trying to, make that slide job happen. Like, I love the way that Tyler Reddick drives. I don't want to be overcritical, but I wish he would not worry about some of them, not just Tyler, but some of them would just not worry about apologizing so much that it seems overdone. Hey, I didn't want that to happen. I'm sorry. I hate it for Chris, and just move on. But just don't sink us in his sympathy train.
Did you consciously think of that when you were in those situations where you're like, I may apologize, but I'm not groveling at all?
I think you have to apologize, but you don't have to. You don't want to. I never wanted to overdo it because I think it. I didn't want it to end that way, but I did want to make that move, and I'm not going to apologize for trying to make a move that is spectacular. Mm-hmm. And it would have been a spectacular move, right?
Yeah.
It just didn't work out.
You apologize
don't
for
apologize
the result.
for being a dynamic, spectacular driver.
Right.
And I just, I don't know. That's just how I felt about it when I heard it.
No, I think a lot of people.
I like Kevin's coaching tips over there.
I love it when Unc over here gets
I
game.
know.
When he's just like giving free game to everybody because that's what you want. You want guys to go for it. Yeah. And if you're going to be that guy to go for it in the car,
own it.
When you get out, just own it. Be like, I didn't want to wreck him. I was going for the win. Everyone understands.
And if I'm Tyler Reddick's crew chief or team owner, I'm pulling him in there today and I'm saying, look, man, I don't want you to think twice about any of this. Do the exact same thing again. I want you to be that guy.
I bet money that he had a text from Mr. Michael Jordan after being like, you're my guy. This is why you're driving my car. Because Michael's a guy. He does. Obviously, we've seen so much MJ clips and everything. He doesn't care. He just wants to win.
Right.
Yeah. And I just don't. I hope he doesn't overthink it and overanalyze it. And I would assume that he would talk to Buescher again. But that's the way I would do it. Just do it so nobody knows.
Also, I thought for a minute Buescher was just gonna jank him up.
I did too.
Like,
I'm like, they are not the same size.
I'm like, bro, pick him up, do it.
What's about to go down?
Man, it almost did. It was cool.
So we've been pretty critical of Ford on this show throughout the course of the year. So now we finally, I guess,
very well justified.
Wait, who's we? Who's we?
Well, we're a team, all right? We go down this road together. But I guess at least they got the win. One win on the year.
Said it last week.
Yep.
They had speed last week, and they showed up again with speed this week.
They did.
You've got the 6, the 17, the 4,
14 sometimes.
14 was 5th
sometimes. Yeah.
Finish wise. Yep. So you had
51 was like 9th, I think.
The 51 was 9th. So Fords have improved quickly.
Yes, they have.
And I think that is good for all of us because adding those, we expected the RFK cars to run better. We expected Blaney to have more speed. I think the rest of them, the Stewart-Haas cars, they don't even know what's happening. Listen to Chase Briscoe talk about and describe his situation, not knowing anything that's going on or what they're doing. But you know what? Noah has performed well. Josh Berry showed up this weekend and performed well. Chase Briscoe performed well. So those guys are running better too. So there's definitely something that flipped the switches in the Fords.
Well, is it extra motivation? Because it's no secret we don't know the future of Stewart-Haas racing. So these guys are kind of auditioning and racing for another job.
They are all racing for their job. They are all racing to keep a job, get a job, and I think this whole silly season is going to be pretty wild. and it's already started, right? Michael McDowell, I think he made a great move by getting himself pulling
out of the mix.
I got to make a decision. Let's just make it happen. Made it happen. Went to Spire. So now you got these 4 Stewart-Haas guys. Are they selling all the charters? Are they keeping 2 charters? Are they keeping 1? I don't know, but it sure seems like they're selling a few, 2, 3. I don't know how many, but there are going to be guys without jobs, and I think they know that they're auditioning, and they're all definitely thinking about it because Chase Briscoe is publicly talking about it.
There's a lot of smoke over there. So where there's smoke, there's probably some fire too, because everyone's talking about it in the garage that no one really knows. And to your point, Kevin, if you don't feel the heat as a driver, I don't know how else to motivate you other than you might not be doing this anymore. This is all you want to do for your whole life.
Yeah.
Right.
Get it done.
Stewart-Haas racing driver Josh Berry in your old car with your former crew chief as well. I think people forget, and I know you talked about this on a conference call earlier, he doesn't have a lot of experience in Cup, but he is really starting to come into his own. But he's been in the game for a while.
Yeah.
But
I think we're a little bit, I think it's a little bit unfair to Josh Berry because we think of Josh Berry as this experienced guy, but I think that was his 26th Cup start. 25th, 26th Cup start. And we always talk about it taking 100 races.
Yeah. And how many different teams too? Like different, like the 9, the 45.
And top 5
48.
at Stewart-Haas now. Top 5 at, in Chase Elliott's car. When he ran up front. So I think we forget that he doesn't have a lot of Cup starts. I think that they've had races this year where they fumbled the ball and kind of messed things up on pit road and didn't get the finishes that they deserve. But they put together a whole day yesterday, started in the back, didn't qualify well, started in the back, drove all the way to the front, raced up in the top 10 pretty much the whole day. So I think that we're starting to see some new players pop up that have taken a little bit of time to get their arms around things to get the season started well. And I think that's going to make it even more exciting to watch because as you get more players involved in this mess and you start looking at that bubble line, it becomes pretty interesting when you start getting, because Noah's run well enough to pop up at one of these races and still win.
Oh, yeah.
So, even with the speed that they've had, maybe they don't have the dominant car that day, but they hang around the top 5. You hang around the top 5 long enough, and it's going to be a Texas-style race where you pop into victory lane or a Talladega finish where something like that happens. So, and you get one guy like Suarez, right? So Suarez hasn't run good enough to be in the top 16.
Right.
And you get another one of those guys that pops into the top 16 once we get into the road race season and have some of these guys that might win. It gets interesting.
it does.
Well, I think we have one of the best postseasons in all of sports.
That's right.
I know, some of our core fans, they want the old style back, but I'm telling you, it is so entertaining from Daytona to Phoenix because there's so many different ways this thing can go.
Agreed. One other name I'm going to be watching is Ty Gibbs because he seems like his time is approaching quickly. Good finish for him out there just last weekend. So the next race on the docket for NASCAR is the All-Star race. North Wilkesboro coming up. Our man's going to be busy. And I bet business is really picking up for you. I mean, what else have you been doing in addition to your normal things for Kyle Larson fill-in?
There's a firm reminder in this as to why I retired. Because of all the effort and time that it takes to just get to the racetrack, whether it's physicals, drug testing, gambling training, diversity training, going to the shop, sitting in your seat, got to have a suit. I got to go to the simulator this week.
Oh, you seem so excited.
Go to the simulator and figure out how to drive again because I haven't driven anything since I raced in
I
Phoenix.
mean-
You've been go-karting.
I've driven
You're
my go-kart,
professional.
but,
You'll be old shoe.
but it's been fun. It has been more work than I remembered it being, just to get everything going, because you usually do that in the off season, not in the middle of. I mean,
right.
even though I'm not driving, I still have a lot going on with all the broadcast stuff and everything that we do on a week-to-week basis. But so I went for my seat fitting.
Yes.
Didn't have to change anything. Just walked in
right.
and everything was perfect. So
Remember you
this
said
week,
that, yeah.
this week we'll do the simulator. We'll do the team meeting. We'll do all the prep for that, and then see if it rains or not on Friday.
Rodney tweeted and he said I would hope that they wouldn't have to change anything after all the stuff that all the help we gave him. He tweeted, I was dying laughing.
Yeah,
That was
he
great.
did. They gave him some help, but it's like we talked. Even if you get all the notes, you still got to execute it, right?
That's right.
And it's just not easy to get it all right. But they're pros, as most of these guys on these teams are, right? And they have a lot of resources and people to go along with it. So it'll be fun to go through the week of plans and see where it all falls.
What's your expectation for yourself?
That's a good question. I don't really know, because I know how much it takes to be competitive on a week-to-week basis with the details that go in the car to get that extra 1/10 and a half out of the car to be at that top level. But I think understanding the difference in the tires and the difference at the track and just being able to relate that to everybody at home is the most important thing. But to see how another team operates, that'll be interesting.
That's probably your favorite part.
That's my favorite part is, Chad Knaus told me, he's like, well, you ready for the intensity of Cliff Daniels? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I asked him, I said, what do you mean? He's like, well, people think I was intense. And I'm like, I kind of like that. I think it'll be interesting to go to that intensity level of Cliff, where Rodney was intense, but he was always pretty mild mannered, and I wound up being the high strung one. So it'll be interesting to see the dynamic of the team and listen. I don't even know who the spotter is, but to listen.
Tyler Mon.
Okay, so it'll be interesting to have a different voice on both ends from the spotter and driver or crew chief standpoint. So I enjoy the difference in the dynamics of people and their situation and how they go about it.
Yeah, two intense people will be together this weekend.
Yeah. So,
Two
okay.
intense-
One last question about it, because I kind of feel like he avoided really what I was trying to get at.
He told you had a good question. Don't you love when he says that?
Yeah,
Makes
it
you
makes
feel
me-
like you're not a moron.
Yeah, it makes me feel like
I
I'm
love when
good
he
at my job a little bit. Okay, so let's say no rain, sunny day. You do your deal. When you see yourself on the pylon, what position are you going to be like, I feel like I did a good job?
Like if I'm not last.
That's it? Well, it was a tough one last year for you at North Wilkesboro, I feel like.
It was.
Yeah, so if you're not last.
Yeah, as long as I'm not last, I'll be happy.
Okay, there you go. Now he answered it. It says
There you go.
expectation is
Really
to
low
not
bar.
be last.
Couldn't get him.
So this race, of course, is very unique. Non-points paying race, All-Star race. You've won it before. What did you like about competing in the All-Star race?
Well, my first All-Star race was 2001. We won Atlanta, so we won ourselves into the All-Star race. We go out on the racetrack. I'm super excited to go out and race. They drop the green flag, and it starts raining into turn one.
Oh, yeah.
Almost the whole field crashes going into turn one.
Excellent.
So they haul the cars into the garage, and they're like, I'm thinking to myself, well, we're done. That didn't take long. And they're like, all right, you can get your backup car out. We're going to delay the race, and we're going to try it again. And I'm like, oh, well, we're going to get the backup car out. So we get the backup car out. We take the green flag, and all four of my brakes lock up. I'm the first caution, and we are stuck on pit road with all four brakes locked up on the car. So my first one didn't go that well.
Went
and
from
I
bad
had to
to
go the
worse.
next day to race the Busch Series car at Nazareth because we were running the double. Had an extremely sore neck. I have no idea where we finished, but that was my first experience with the All-Star race. But I think it's a great weekend to not have a lot of pressure. If you win, it's fun because you win $1 million. If you lose, it doesn't really matter. But it also gives you an opportunity to try stuff, especially if you're in a position like Joey Logano or somebody who's been struggling with where they need to be. The 22, 24, 54 were the cars that went to do the tire test at North Wilkesboro. We saw Logano run better after he went to Richmond and some of those places after they went to North Wilkesboro. So I think this is another opportunity to just try some different things from a setup standpoint that you, I guess, are a little further outside of the box than a normal race weekend. So it'll be interesting.
Are you going to do intros?
No.
Oh,
No.
bummer.
No.
That's
Unless I get a special call from SMI Properties, I don't do those ones.
Oh, I hope they're listening.
Yeah,
Special call here
special
for
call,
our
just-
special friend Mamba.
Y'all got my number. But I am excited to see it. And I was thinking about that one, that 01 one, because I think did Jeff come back and win in his backup car in that one?
I don't remember.
I feel like someone came back. I feel like
to get
someone
that
came back and
information.
won in their backup car. But I was also thinking about Carl Edwards when he won. You remember when he won and he yanked that thing off for doing his
oh,
donut?
yeah, caught that drain.
He caught the drain in the
drain,
middle of the, and it blew everything
Yes.
to smithereens. And he gets out and he's like,
Smithereens. I think you made that one up.
Like that one? That was a Bugs Bunny one. Yeah. And he's like, eh. And I'm like,
You rascally wabbit you.
like if you were cheating, bro, nobody knows because that thing is destroyed. There's nothing left of that car.
Maybe it was planned. Huh?
It might have been. He knew where the drainage was.
He knew where the drain was. But the racetrack has been resurfaced. This is going to
has.
be different. By the way, I saw where fans can buy a jar of the milled aggregate of the old surface for $60. If anyone's interested, yes.
Not a bad
I
place.
don't know why I find random things in my research for these shows in case anybody cares. But what do you think this new repave is going to mean for the teams?
Well, it's going to be smoother. It's going to be faster. Obviously, it's got a lot more grip than what it had before. So the unique part about the All-Star race is going to be you have the primary tire and the soft tire. So that'll be interesting. The forecast looks like it might be wet in different scenarios. So you could possibly see, the rain tires on the cars as well. So I think right now you have to be ready for anything. And you look at the way that the tires are laid out and having those options and having to make decisions of which set of tires to put on and when you put it on and when the cautions come out adds another layer to it for the crew chiefs and teams and for us to kind of unfold. So I think for the practice session and the things that I would take out of that session, understanding the difference between the primary tire and the soft tire is going to be fun to see because we're hoping that it's 5-6 tenths faster than the primary tire. So if we can get that to be fast enough to where we can see guys really make up ground and put themselves in a position to, have comers and goers throughout the race, I think it has the potential to be fun. So we just need the weather to cooperate.
Yes, we
Need
do.
a little cooperation because I also that's out there are the Cars Tour late models.
That's right. That's
And
Kevin's.
we want to make sure that those guys get to race. We want to see some old school late model racing. Kevin, there was a gentleman I saw at Tri-County this weekend. His name is Crate. He wanted me to make sure he said Crate. Yeah.
Okay.
He said back in the day he had a radio station and he had Jake
Like a
Owen.
box crate?
No, I think more like Crate Engine.
Okay.
That's what I
Okay.
His nickname
I'm
was
like,
Crate.
Great.
Yeah, I think his first name's Ronnie. He's over
Shout
at
out to
Tri-County.
Crate.
Shout out to Crate. He said, make sure I told you Allie. And he let me in his racetrack. Thank you,
There you
Ronnie.
go.
So I want to make sure I give him.
Perfect.
I had a great time at Tri-County.
Yeah.
Wanna
Did you see
more.
that guy's roof blow off?
I was Landon Huffman, my boy.
Yeah.
I was right there.
boy.
My boy, he got hit in the left rear and it blew the whole.
I follow
body
Landon
off of it.
Huffman on social media,
Oh, well.
and there is always something happening. Like he
Be
is in the
entertaining.
middle of all kinds of stuff, and it is definitely entertaining because he always
vocal.
has an opinion as
Always
well.
has an opinion.
So that definitely keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, me and him had a little.
they had a spat.
little
It's
spat
fine.
over
They've
Really?
last
they've-
week. Yeah.
We'll talk about that off camera.
We're homies.
I want to
Oh,
go back to North Wilkesboro though for a moment, guys, because I went to this event last year, of course, and it felt so special because it was back at an iconic venue. The nostalgia, I think the fans love that, like feeling like they're reliving the days of old. What did you think from your perspective when
I
it all
loved it.
came together?
I
Yeah,
loved it. I loved everything about it. I love the fact that we have another short track. I love that we revived a racetrack.
That's right.
And when you look at that, it isn't really just about the All-Star race. You talk about the Cars Tour. We have our season-ending race there. The Smart Modified Tour has their season-ending race there. The NASCAR Modifieds race there. It also, the Southeast has a lot of other things going on besides Cup racing. It gives us an opportunity to race other divisions because we have another track. And now you have another state-of-the-art track. And then you have a track that has the history and the heritage that goes with the southeast roots of NASCAR racing. So it's a cool place to go.
It is.
It was a great event. I hope the fans turn out and support it like they did last year, because they're a big proponent of this continuing to be successful and go forward. Only thing that worries me is we have Darlington, North Wilkesboro, and Charlotte all in a row from that standpoint. Yeah. So there's a lot of racing in this particular 3-week period in a very small location, area. So it's perfect facility for racing pretty much anything that you want to race. And it's got that great tie of the past, but also has the new surface and new coats of paint and the things that they've thought through and done to be able to kind of tie into that history and heritage, but also make it new and up to date has been pretty cool to see.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. A great showing last year. Hopefully we'll have more of that come this weekend.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk about our picks for this race a little later in the show, but it is time now for your sips, my friend. And I got to scroll. Can you read that print there? That's like a font.
I got
6.
I got my glasses on, so I'll be okay.
Are those like real glasses or just clear frames or clear
blue
lenses?
blockers or
No,
what?
They're not. They're not blue light. They're
No. I mean, are they prescription? Or
no. These are for show, not for go. Yeah.
Not for go.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, we'll
for
see
sure.
if you need to make them for go.
Ooh, okay. We're gonna start here instead of in the order. I'm gonna mess up my producer. Sorry, Tyler, but I'm gonna start with this weekend. The Goodyear 400 at Darlington. There was an awesome Goodyear activation, and it was a pit crew challenge. Right,
Yeah.
the old 5-lug, and I went and did it and did some social for Goodyear, and I set the record.
You're repping that today.
And I'm
Set a
repping this
record
today.
for what?
Yeah, look.
Look at this.
I set the Goodyear Tire Challenge record. And so anyone that wants a shot at the champ, 6.12 seconds, Kevin.
Is this there every week?
I don't know, but you got to go to the Midway to find out.
I was in there last week.
Yeah, it was there. So this is what I want to ask you. Do you think you have a shot at the title? Because I don't think your knees can get
I mean,
that
if you can go that fast, surely I can go faster.
Did you say his knees can't? What did you say?
He's a little...
You're the one that walks around in a walking boot.
I say that 5 times fast.
Walks around in a walking boot. You're the one that, I mean, you have a walking boot.
I know.
He's got a limp.
I got a little
Our
bit of
buddy
limp.
has an
So
injury.
you think you can beat me?
I think I have a good shot at beating you.
Okay.
Is this
I mean,
another bet on the docket?
Oh,
with
fast do you think
you
costume
can do
on
it?
the line?
Yeah, how fast do you think you can do it?
How fast do you think I could do it?
Do you think you could do it?
No, I'm not going to beat you. Are you kidding me? No.
Okay.
But we didn't ask that. We asked how fast you thought you could. I mean, he did.
I don't
he
even
did
want
what?
to
6
give
point
it.
what?
What was it?
6.1.
Jeez,
two.
mine's probably like 10 seconds.
Okay. That's still get you in a truck race.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should change this. 20 seconds.
You only have to change one tire.
It's only one.
Jack it up for you.
How fast do you think you'll be able to do it?
I think I can do it in under 12.
Okay. Kevin thinks he can do it under 12. Closers, go to the midways. Go show that you can get faster than Kevin because he's not getting under 12. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No,
Is that there all the time?
I don't know. I hope so because I want to see you do it. Maybe 10.
I'd like to see me beat you.
I'd like to see you try.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Moving right along. Big news dropped this week. NASCAR 2025, the first ever in-season tournament.
Thank
the
you,
bracket. Unreal. So I am super excited about this. And if you're not watching and just audio, so it's going to be a 32 driver bracket,
Yep.
head-to-heads.
Yes.
So the
This is
last 3 races of the Amazon schedule will set the
lineup kind of.
lineup,
for
the rankings,
seeds.
and then the TNT part will be the actual.
And the best finish of the 2 will advance to the next bracket. And there's $1 million on the line.
I
So
love
now we
this.
have once again another opportunity for an extra $1 million. Very cool incentive
Well,
here.
with inflation, I feel like the All-Star race might underpay. I think with, it paid $1 million in what, 1995?
When we did the Winston. Yeah.
So maybe we should.
Maybe this is what a good way to get that up is like, okay, if there's $2 million races, one has to be higher than the other.
I would agree. Maybe we should raise the All-Star race to $2 million.
I'm cool with that. So do you think I'm excited because I love March Madness, right? And this is a riff off of that a little bit. And the NBA in-season tournament, the brackets that I think the fans are going to be able to do. And I hope that they're incentivized with some money for a perfect bracket or a trip out to, the championship weekend.
Yeah, I hope that activation has just like March Madness, right? Like with all the all the brackets that get submitted and the interaction that goes with it. I think this is a great opportunity to get the fans involved. We talk about it all the time, and I'm glad somebody has stepped out of the box in order to make that happen.
I was having some conversation with some people at NASCAR, and I'm like, where did this? Because everyone is like, Denny, thank you so much. Obviously, Denny was the first one to talk about it, and I was like, seriously though, like, where did this all? And they're like, we were having discussions with partners as we were doing the new TV deal. So like this was something that came from outside in.
Well,
so
I think
cool.
I think NASCAR and a new TV partner is just allowing to think outside the box and making something like that happen and committing to the financial means to actually make it happen, to make it worthwhile is fun. So one other thing that happened this weekend, NASCAR unveiled their legacy program.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I heard Rick Mast talking about it, where they have included all the old drivers with hard cards and emails and different things to include them into the events. This was a great initiative that the Driver Council came up with several years ago, and NASCAR has followed through on that to create a great new program for our past drivers and people involved on that side.
It's a super big deal.
Yeah.
Especially because our legends kind of, they don't, when they retire, the older guys, it's like, where are they now?
Yeah.
And they're still around the Lake Norman area. We just don't hear from them.
Well, we
much, so
didn't
bring
include
up.
them, right? They were not included. They didn't feel welcome. And, to make them feel welcome and have them talk good about our sport, because that's all they want. They love our sport. Yeah. They just talked bad about it because they weren't included and they didn't feel like anybody even recognized what they did. So I think to have that program put together is quite a win for everybody.
Speaking of legends, I like Terry Labonte up there in the booth
He
with
was,
you. Stage 2.
Texas Terry up in the booth.
Not a
had
lot
his
of
fire
words,
suit on.
but great stories came out of him.
He I think, you go back and you look at the throwback weekend. We had some really big failures as far as participating in throwback weekend with no paint scheme at all. I won't mention any teams, but we also had some massive W's. Hendrick Motorsports being the one that probably did the best job.
Yeah.
And I think with all 4 of their cars, but I mean, Kyle Larson's car with the old Kellogg's
awesome.
Texas
So
Terry
dang good.
scheme on the side of that car and the way that they presented it and brought the as many members
Whole team,
of the old team to the racetrack. And Terry was kind enough to come to the booth and just spend some time. And it's awesome to just hear those old stories and just see him look out the window and ask questions about, man, I can't see much out of here. You guys, I'm like, well, Clint likes to look out the window and lick the glass, but Mike and I, we watch the screen and pay attention to what's actually happening with the race. But it's fun to have those guys involved in things like that. And those guys did a great job with 5-car.
Yes, they really did. It was a sharp-looking race car. Very
Yes, it
cool.
was.
All right, is that all your sips? That's all you got?
No, that's it. I wanted to talk a little bit more on the bracket. So we kept this sip.
Yeah, but I know we still have to rank the burnout that we saw for Brad Keselowski out there in Darlington. So let's take a look at it and see what Mr. BK did. Here we go, guys. What do we think about this one?
Super tight donut here.
Love it.
Yeah, that's
Technical score is high.
technical score is high. Well,
Creativity? We got the flag, guys. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Polish?
it's hard to downgrade him very far because, he has the flag and he had the perfect circle there with the donuts.
lack of smoke.
Not a lot of smoke.
Not a lot of smoke.
Not a lot of smoke.
I think when you haven't won that long, I think you should just blow the tires off the back of it and just make them tow your car to victory lane. But I guess we'd give it a B.
A B.
A B?
Okay, so we're doing, have we determined that will be the grading scale? Not a word,
we're doing-
but an actual, like if it's
ABC,
a report card.
And, D's and F's like you got.
Okay. All right. Calm down. We'll see one of your burnouts here before too long.
How were you in school? Did you get good grades?
I did good until I started racing.
I didn't
Funny how that works.
Yeah.
I did not do good.
Did great right up until my junior and senior year.
I was bad.
School
the whole
became
way.
less of a priority. It was great up until that point.
I was on academic probation my first year of college, but I turned out all right. I turned that ship
There's
around.
that.
There you
Did
go.
you get good grades?
No.
No.
No?
But listen, kids. set the bar low in freshman year, and then take the easy classes. And your parents are like, "Oh my God, you're a genius!"
Yeah, get
now."
on that dean's
And that's
list
what I
in
did.
college.
We
Yeah.
had like almost an incomplete in freshman year, but sophomore, junior, senior.
We had great progression.
Yeah,
My mom
freshman
loved
year
it.
was
Yeah.
hard. I
Yeah.
did really good the other years. I'm
Yeah.
sure. I was like teacher's pet. I did a lot of studying.
I made the teachers laugh, so that's.
oh,
Yeah.
see, everyone has their own skill.
And I was an athlete, so obviously they gotta.
Oh, he was an athlete. Yeah.
For real? What was your sport?
I did basketball, soccer, baseball, track, lacrosse.
I did
You weren't
track
good
and
at
field.
anything.
Yeah. Oh, he was a
I can't
wrestler.
even- If I will
Kevin
break
was a
my
wrestler.
broken foot off in your ass, Kevin Harvick.
Oh my God!
Yes! We finally got some emotion out of the chair over there.
Oh, wow.
It's about time. Usually good athletes only play one sport.
No, that's when you're going to be great.
Oh,
I'm an all-around athlete.
all around good athlete.
Yeah.
There you go.
Anyway,
I love it.
Hey.
I love it.
Guys, speaking of athletes, let's make our picks. For We're going to
Fired
do
up.
our last call
Okay.
and go ahead and give our selections. I am going to go with the driver we've talked about quite a bit on this show. Well, a little bit, and as it pertains to you,
Oh, really?
Kyle Larson.
You think he's coming from the back of the field to win the race?
Hey, if anyone can do it, it's Kyle Larson.
All right. Well, I'm not. I'm gonna pick William Byron because he did the
Okay.
tire test there.
Yes.
And I think those guys are going to have a little bit of an advantage. And I'm going to go a little bit further.
Hmm.
I'm going to say the 11 wins the pit stop competition
Oh,
and gets the pole. And Ty
my
Gibbs will
gosh.
win the qualifying race.
so he did a whole layer.
yeah, you think he would have told us like
He's like, we
beforehand
gotta
that he
pick
was
the
going to
pit-
go.
I can only expect so much.
Oh,
Okay.
What
All
does
right.
that
Expect
mean?
so much.
His
Yeah,
bar
you-
is low for us, I
Yeah,
think, is what
yeah.
he's saying.
No.
Slightly.
I just happened to sit on several calls, so
Oh, that's
I
right.
felt like picking Larson. I was somewhat supporting you, which is why I picked him, but I don't have to pick him.
Don't support.
I love it. Everybody is just uptight today.
Don't support him.
So
I'm gonna go a little bit out of the box, and I'm gonna go with Noah Gragson.
wow.
I like it.
So you
I
think
love
he's going to
that.
get in the All-Star race?
Yeah, he did it last year. If I do, no, he put on a show last year though. I don't remember if you made.
Put on a show when he hit the end of the pit wall and
That's-
slammed into the fence.
That's right. He was racing hard. I think Noah's gonna. I'm gonna give Noah $1 million. I think that'll be really wild to see. And pit crew wise, I think the 6.
Yeah.
I
They're gonna
think
have-
them boys they're hitting their stride right now.
It's a
Yeah.
lot of confidence when you come off of a win like
yeah,
that.
it makes you
right.
feel good.
Yeah.
Every time though, this year when this time rolls around, I missed the pit crew challenge. I always thought that was so cool.
Well, we have it though.
Yeah, we still
But
have
you
it.
know, when it was like down at the Spectrum
Oh,
Center
yes,
and
yes.
like
Oh,
the
Speed
whole
Street
big-
and everything.
Speed
that was
Street. Sometimes when you say stuff on podcasts, you like make it happen. So this is just my slight
Trying to
attempt.
put out in the
This is a
universe.
Bring
slight-
back Speed Street.
Bring back.
Those great times.
It was.
It was good.
It's good
I mean,
times.
That week was long and there were a lot of events that went along with it.
Yes,
so
there was.
It was a fun event.
Speaking of street, look at me weaving the tapestry here. Stone Street.
That's right. Yes.
Tell me about your Thursday
I was like, where we going
episode.
with this?
Yeah, we're,
Tell us
we've
about-
got Eric Stone Street will be our interview this week. So Thursday, Eric Stone Street will be on with us. We'll have some fun with that.
Yeah, I'm
Eric
really
Stone
looking
Street
forward to hearing
From Modern Family.
Okay, just make it. There's some people
Secret
that might
Life,
not know.
Secret Life of Pets.
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Some
Secret
respect
Life
on
of
this man's
Pets.
Or Kansas City Chiefs super fan.
Super fan.
right.
Yeah.
What's up with you and the Chiefs?
Kansas Chiefs. Yeah.
got
Well, we've been to Kansas and Boyer, all I hear about is the Chiefs.
Oh, okay.
Stone Street's a good friend of mine and he's all about the Chiefs. So it's hard not to hear about the Chiefs with those two.
So
How did you and him meet?
Oh gosh, we met many years ago through Jimmy John.
that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I might see him this weekend actually
Oh,
with the Ferrari stuff. So
keep
Laguna
him on the
Seca?
road.
yeah,
When do you head out there?
right after this,
Oh yeah, that's right. I was supposed to take him to the airport, but now I can't.
she
so.
bailed on me.
It's okay. Me, Kevin and I are doing Race Hub, so
That's
you
right.
get
I'll be
you're on
watching.
your own.
I'll be watching
You better watch.
from the
That's
air,
right.
cheering you guys on.
Oh, excellent. Well, it's going to be a busy couple days for everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in to this edition of Kevin's Happy Hour. We'll see you coming up after North Wilkesboro.